the first thing you need to do is open the hood. My RAV4 has a 4-cylinder, and right on top of the oil fill cap it lets you know what kind of weight oil is good for this vehicle. I'm going to be using 5W20. Okay, next we have to drain the oil that's in here currently. Kind of a tight spot. I'm ready with my oil pan, so okay, just loosen the nut. The motor is hot, so this oil is hot, so you got to be ready to catch the hot oil. There we go. There we go. As you can see, the oil's a little dark there. Definitely time to change it. It's been 5,000 miles. So we'll let that drain. Sometimes you have to move the pan a little bit as it drains because it might need to be moved. So we're doing good. I think it's in a good spot. So get the old oil out. Okay, I'm going to replace the plug now. This thing's hot. Woo. Oh, that's hot. Alright, so we can move that out of the way. Let's show you. Plugs all back in. Just gotta tighten it. Back. Okay, so that's one step. Drain the oil out, put the plug back in. Next step is the oil filter, which is located right here. I'm going to get another tool, oil filter wrench. It's kind of, I'll show you it in a sec here. And we'll get this off, and because some oil is going to drain out into the pan from that also. So we want to make sure we catch that and not get it on the floor, or we have to clean it up. So we'll do that. Okay, from the front of the vehicle, I'm going to go down under. I'm going to show you just at the front of the motor on the side. There's our oil filter. So you know where it's located. It's just in front of the drain plug that I just took off. So more. So here's the drain plug closer to the front of the car. There's your oil filter. So you know the location. Now I'm going to get the tool to take that off. Okay, here's the oil filter, the new one, just to show you in simulation. The tool that I'm using, there's a lot of different kinds of oil filter wrenches, but the one I have is too big. It's too big, right? Here's the size of it. So what I do is I took a socket to take up some room, and then when I turn it to loosen, it pinches in here, and it actually works quite well. So this is my poor man's oil filter wrench. So we're going to use that. Also, this goes in here. Okay, what I've got is, here's my wrench with the socket on the side. I'm going to go up there and I'm going to turn it clockwise until I get a grip, because I'm going to need some space. I've got an extension on here. Alright, so I just need to loosen this. It's going to squeeze that old oil filter and then it's going to start to spin it, which it's doing now. So I've got it loose. Take this out of here. Get ready for oil to drip. Okay, there it is. I'm just going to drop the oil. I'm just going to drop the oil filter down. There's a screen on my pan here. It's not going to drip a whole lot, but this filter is full of oil. There you go. So we got minimum drippage this time. And the oil filter is off. I'm going to need to check, make sure that the O-ring stayed on the oil filter. I think you can see that it did. If this rubber O-ring was stayed up in there, you would have two of them when you went to put the new one in, and you would have a problem. It would blow out and oil would go everywhere after it heated up. Alright, after you got some oil pressure. I had that happen on a motorcycle once. It was terrible. It blew oil out right onto the ground and onto my back wheel. I'm lucky I was going straight and I knew how to stop. But my back wheel had oil all over it. And it was a problem. I'd had a double oil ring. I made that mistake before. So I share my mistake with you. There you go. So that's just draining. That's okay. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to on the new oil filter, I'm going to take a little bit of new oil and I'm going to rub it around on this O-ring here, so when I put the new one on, it has a little bit of oil on there so it seats nicely. So I'm going to do that right now. Okay, now I'm going to take a little bit of oil. I'm going to pour it into the cap because I just want to dip my finger in a little bit of oil. So I'm going to put a little oil in the cap, like so. And I'll get my oil filter. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick my finger in the oil, and I'm going to rub it on the O-ring of the new oil filter. So I'm going to screw this back on and get it hand tight, as tight as I can by hand. I might use and I'll just use a rag to hold it real tight. I usually do it as tight as I can do by hand with no oil filter wrench, but I'm not saying you should do that, but that's what I do. So I'm going to put this oil filter back on now. The oil filter has threads in the center right here, so when you put it on, make sure it's straight. Make sure it's straight when you go in there. Make sure you don't cross thread it. You don't want to strip this or the part on the engine. So just take your time. Make sure it goes on straight. It should go on nice. If it's feeling a little funny, just go backwards and then go forwards again and spin it. Okay, now that the oil's drained, the new oil filter is in, so the bottom, nothing's going to leak out the bottom now. Everything is covered up and all the oil is out. I'm going to open up the oil fill, take the oil fill cap off. I've got a funnel here. I like to make sure my funnel's clean before I put my new oil in. Get that on here. Now we get some oil. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put 4 quarts in. I'm just going to put 4 quarts in. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. Here's number 4, my 4th quart. Alright. And the next thing we're going to do is put the cap back on after number 4. Put the cap back on with 4 quarts in it. We're not done yet. We're going to start the motor and get the oil pressure up and get that oil filter filled back up with oil. and then we'll check our levels. Okay, I'm going to start the car now to get the oil pressure up. The oil light is over here. It's already off. But just let it run for a few seconds here. It's got 4 quarts of oil in it. It's not going to hurt anything. It's probably pumped the oil in by now. So we'll turn it back off. And we'll finish topping off our level and checking with our dipstick, and you should be good to go. Okay, I'm going to show you where the dipstick is. It's right here. Yellow handle. And pull it out. Okay, we're going to check the oil level now. Wipe it off. Put it back in. Pull it back out. Hold it up to the light. It's so clean, it's hard to read. Yeah, I think it's still about half a quart low. So I'll put about a quarter of a quart in and I'll check it again. So I'm opening up quart number 5. I'm going to put about a quarter of it in and recheck my level. Well, it looks like I need to put about 4.5 quarts in, and I think we should drive it for a little while and then recheck it again later. But I'm at about 4.5 quarts right now, and I'm going to put the cap back on this one, put it all together, close it all up, and drive it around a little bit, and then check it again in a little while. But that's how you change the oil in a RAV4, or pretty much any vehicle. There's my oil change. Hope that helps you. Hope that information helps you a lot, and take care.